Welcome to the RVA Returners Podcast, your weekly source for all things Final Fantasy TCG. You cannot do whatever that. We're pretty good at being like one-take Tommies, but sometimes you just have to. I don't know. I'm just mad we missed all the musings about the bug squishing. Yeah, the quick kill. And we messed up on that one. We know we're not going to mess up on this time, boys. The second take of the RVA Returners Podcast. Guys, we're back with our next episode. I am your host, Chris Adams. With me, as always, Adam Lane. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
There it is. And we've got a couple special guests with us today. One of these guys, no stranger to the cast. The other, a face I have not seen in a long time, and we didn't even know that we'd met each other because we just didn't know each other. Turns out, and of course, that's the Jersey Boys. We've got John Schreiner. I was called Jane Schreiner.
That's all right.
John Schreiner and Alex Tessmer. Guys, say hi.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, good to be here.
Excellent. So, of course, we all know John Schreiner with EXP Plus. Just consummate competitive player here in the scene. Really puts together some really neat decks. I know the Prince deck that you and Dan had put together was, very, very popular coming down the home stretch of Opus 7. And then, of course, Alex Tessmer. It's a name I had not seen in a while, but you know what? It was very familiar. But around this time last year, he was in the top 16 of the Boston Crystal Cup last year, the first one. So, Kageyama speech. You remember that one?
I hadn't remembered until you reminded me about it and brought a tear to my eye just remembering the experience.
It's like, when someone has amnesia and then they get the memory back of like their family. All it takes is the picture and they're just like,
yeah,
there it is.
I walked in the bathroom, I saw the tattoos on my back. All of a sudden, realization comes over my face.
The Kageyama killer. Happens every time.
Strikes again.
But yeah, guys, welcome. Glad you were here. You were in town today with us for, we had our win-a-box down at Jersey's, the Gashel Greens Cup. No pun intended there, but also, given the looking at the calendar, do with that what you will. So, a little bit to talk about today. But you know what? There's a place we like to go. We do it every week, Adam. It has all the information you're looking for. It's a safe place. It's a very informative place. Any thoughts on where that could be? We got some new faces here. Where do you think that is?
I can
John?
hazard a guess.
You know what? I want you to hazard that guess.
Is it the news?
So, first headline today is there was I don't really want to call it an errata.
I mean, it's an errata.
So
it's a language-specific errata.
Yes. So, Adam, I'll go ahead and, this is a card you played a lot more with than I did. Jeez, that's not even English, is it? But, so, pretty much what it boils down to is that the translation from Japanese to English was just one letter and one word made all the difference on the card. Adam, let's go ahead and talk about that.
It's basically either and neither were the words that got mixed up. So the way the English Death Machine read was that as long as one person had a forward, it would live, like it didn't break itself. But now the errata and the way the Japanese version of the card is worded is that both players have to have at least one forward out in order for Death Machine to live, which just makes it a lot worse. I mean, people were like abusing Calbrenna to be able to like stay alive and keep Death Machine alive and just force it to become this really oppressive thing. So the opponent would basically have to like take a turn off to almost kill it, and even then it might not die. And people like Hunter and Curtis caught onto that and they were using it. And I mean, to us, that was the way the card was.
Yeah. To everybody, that's how the card was.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it would have definitely eventually became very, very strong. But now it's not. I think now competitively the card's pretty dead.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. I feel like now it's not going to see a home outside of anything more than like a gunslinger deck at a tournament or something you would just, I'm going to get wacky and play something goofy at my locals now. Guys, what y'all think of that? Do you think it was clearly it's a mistake coming from the top, right? But do you think, what am I trying to say here? I don't think I thought the card was fine as was, while it was maybe a slightly unfair, but I just think overall like it was. I mean, it clearly didn't win the Crystal Cup.
It came close.
Yeah, it did come close, but also too you got to chalk that up to the pilot as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Hunter Nance, no slouch. Curtis Kang, no slouch. Jim Doolittle, also not a slouch. But do you think Well, I guess what am I trying to say here, guys? Like, where did this only really come up because like this card was like kind of like in the spotlight a little bit, or what do you think?
You do have to wonder how long we would have thought the card worked this way if it didn't perform this weekend.
That's you said it way better than I could even think to spit out.
It's kind of strange that obviously they saw results and immediately said, "Well, hold on," or saw the stream. That's not how that deck works.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a really cool new archetype that showed up. It was the first time that we had to see it in a competitive field, so people hadn't even learned how to play against it.
Yeah.
So I think there was still plenty of time for counterplay. It wasn't necessarily this super crazy overpowered thing. It's just strong. It was very strong.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like you said, I think that it's just experimental, and it's back to the drawing board for a lot of these people. Are pretty upset. They spent a lot of time practicing with it.
Yeah, it was like a legitimate control shell, which in a game like this, just the way it's set up, you can't really create not like a magic control shell where you can really limit your opponent's resources because you can discard stuff from your hand to pay for things, and that's very, very different than control shells in a lot of other games. So, Alex, what do you think, man?
Yeah, it honestly makes me wonder. I wonder if there's any cards in Opus 1 that are mistranslated, but they're just not meta-relevant cards, so we'll just never know.
Yeah, no, it's very, very true. I guess we should all give a quick shout-out to our new sponsor, Rosetta Stone.
Duolingo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But no, we'll see how these players rebound, because I know the big issue here was there were a lot of people, especially with all the North American competitive season now underway. Like when I say the competitive season, I mean like the push to Worlds, the race to Worlds. There were people who had been testing for months with this, these archetypes around Death Machine. And I know there were also some people that were kind of like, let's call it is what it is, calling for like the legitimacy of the Tampa Crystal Cup because of this card. I mean, do you think that because I personally, and we'll go around the table and talk about this, I personally don't think that argument is founded because nobody knew. We were all given the same
everybody knew
information.
That was the way Death Machine worked in like the English version of the card.
Yeah.
And everybody that was like playing for the tournament was aware that was the way it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it was a mistranslation. They goofed. They fixed the goof now, and there's nothing. It doesn't invalidate anything. Everybody was playing at the same tournament.
Yep. Exactly.
So.
Exactly. But again, we'll see how those players rebound, guys. What do you think of that? Do you think it's I guess in good form to call for the legitimacy of a tournament?
I mean, so I feel like a lot of the people who are saying that weren't at the Tampa Crystal Cup, or the Tampa Crystal Cup itself. Everybody felt great about that tournament when it ended. It was only after the fact that we kind of found out, we're all waking up Monday morning to this news.
Mm-hmm.
The Death Machine is not what we thought it was, kind of. So I think, Adam said, everybody going to that tournament was on equal footing. Understanding was pretty... it had been talked about. It definitely had been a little bit figured out by some people. So sure. I don't think anybody was guessing that Death Machine maybe was worded strangely. How does this work? No, it's this kind of one-sided control shell if you are the guy who commits to playing Death Machine.
Yep.
So I think that the tournament, everybody knew going in, it was fair. Mm-hmm. And like you said, it didn't win the tournament. So, if he had won, I could see people being very upset.
Sure.
It might be a different story. But honestly, I don't think it's a big problem.
Yeah. That's all right. And, on the subject of tournaments, we can go to our next piece of news. Guys, there's a reason you're in town this weekend. We had down at Jersey's, down in Yorktown, we had our next tournament, and it was the Gashel Greens Cup. Maybe that has something to do with today's date. I doubt it, because we're all good folks here. We're all we live by the straight and narrow. But no, it was actually a really good turnout. A big congratulations here to our own Adam Lane for taking it home, walking away with a box of Opus 8 that he quickly traded for a box of Opus 5 because they had one. And, once again, big shout-outs to, Connor and the guys down at Jersey's. They've been really good about and welcoming, picking up the pieces of the Sova scene after Pocket closed down. So, they've been running, this is 2 events in a row. I guess 3 if you want to count the LQ, but these are 3 really solid events in a row they've run. And if you're in the area, if you can come to one of these events, I highly urge you to show up. It was a fantastic event, and like I said, Adam walked away with the win, but it wasn't a bad day for everybody in this room. I mean, you're looking at half of the top 8 right here. So the entire card, the entire team, the boys made top 8. It was great. So we're just going to kind of go around the table. John, because you were kind of the backbone of actually this whole thing. Tell us what the mindset was for all of us going into this tournament.
So we were wondering what deck we wanted to play, and we kind of agreed early on that we just wanted to play the same thing just for fun, have a little bit of a team deck moment.
Yeah.
And we've been playing in the Octagon online tournament that's going on right now, and Adam and I were both doing pretty well, so we were talking a little bit about what we had been playing recently. So I had won a couple of games in a row with the Windwater standard units list, which I felt like the meta is all over the place right now. You have no idea what you're going to walk into, especially before Tampa Crystal Cup we're playing some of these Octagon matches. So Windwater standard units I feel like is always just really value heavy list that just is super safe walking into a lot of things. So I just want to really devalue some of my opponent's favorite cards that they want to play and make sure that everything is as awkward for them to deal with as possible while having a super consistent game, basically playing the same way every time.
Yeah.
So we were messing around with the Windwater standard units list a little bit with the new Warrior of Light, of course, and we liked it, so we decided we would run it as a team.
Yeah, ended up doing really, really well, clearly. And I think once the conversation started of, hey, you guys want to do a team deck? Yeah, why not? And I think the first follow-up question was, can we put 2 Veritas in it?
Yeah, immediately. The snap change when I sent the list was +2 Veritas. And I think that was it. I think that might be the only change we made.
I think you're absolutely right. I think from the initial list you sent, I think we took out like one
Emperor.
Yeah, we took out 1 copy of Dark Emperor, and it might have been
Warrior of Light.
1 Warrior of Light. There it is. Yeah,
because we didn't need him to be like the core build around. He's just another strong piece.
Exactly.
Deck, so.
And the deck fired on all cylinders. For me, like Windwater standard units, it really isn't a style of deck that I typically play. But I found, like I said, I went X2, ended up finishing. I was the 6th seed going into top 8, so it was a good day of cards. It was so weird. Like, you guys had a very different experience with the deck than I did, and I think that does come down to play style. But you guys had some close games throughout the day, and real memorable moments. Nah, my games I either won 7-3 or I lost 7-3. There was just no middle ground. But overall, turns out a 9K Ranger, just a lot of decks they're so dependent on abilities and just a normal size body, because you really think last meta 7K was the sweet spot. Well, here's a 9K that you can't target with half your shit. Deal with it. And then 10K, we all know this deck. This deck's been around for a long time. But I think, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, because there's a big part of that I think was super instrumental in how the deck performed. But so like I said, I finished in 6th. I want to say my official placing when it was all done was actually 7th. John, I think you finished 8th. I think that was your final standing. Now, Alex, we're over here having fun talking about this great Windwater standard units deck. So, unfortunately, the experience was not really the same for you. Tell us kind of what had happened here.
Yeah, so coming down, I actually just don't own a lot of cards. Just I don't play that often. So didn't have any Diaboluses, didn't have any backup arcs, and backup arc, very important card for the deck. So I just kind of pulled an audible when those cards weren't available for me, and I played a Water Lightning power reduction brew I'd been messing around with instead. And it worked out pretty well. I was 2nd seed after Swiss, and I think I came in 5th, I believe.
Yeah, I think that was your final standing. And it was just funny because the whole time we were just giving him shit because it was like, oh man, you came down to play the team deck and then you just carpet bagged us and played. Because here's the thing, the deck you were playing actually performs really well against the deck we were playing just by the nature of the way it's put together. But the trade-off is you struggle in a lot of matches that the deck we were playing just kind of rolls right over.
Yeah.
Grave digger.
Yeah, just grave digger, baby, over the top.
Colin Coleman said that to me today. I sat down across from him to play the deck, and he goes, no, here comes a grave digger. I don't want to play against this deck.
Yes. But overall, man, I think the choices were pretty neat. I mean, other than 3 of the top 8 being the same deck. I want to say every other deck was different. You had Shrinky Dinks, you had Ice Earth. You had Josh on some kind of 4 color.
Josh was on Earthwind with like Phoenix and.
Okay, and then Adam Duncan was on Mono Wind.
Yeah, and then Trevor was on Mono Lightning.
Yeah, so I mean the usual suspects were kind of there, but so Adam, again finishing on top. Congratulations on that. It's another victory under the belt. How'd the deck feel for you today, man?
I mean, it felt really good.
Well, clearly it felt you won, so it definitely felt good. But.
Yeah, I think I used pretty much every card at some point to do something. Mm-hmm. There's not much I would change about the deck at all, really. I feel like it's pretty solid top to bottom. Just like getting nice to 10Ks and just laughing at Dottaluma was kind of funny. Mm-hmm. There just wasn't a lot I could deal with it. The Rangers too, like against Ron, like Ranger and Zidane, you couldn't really touch those cards. And then what's the All-Star for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and we'll definitely touch more on that when we kind of get to the main topic. But I think we were all kind of in agreement that Heroic Una was definitely the MVP of the day.
Yeah.
If not, she was definitely co-MVP with another card.
Mm-hmm.
That is the reason Una H is being played.
Yeah.
So it's no secret. It's no secret that other card we're talking about is Veritas. But no, overall it was a great event. I want to say the next event coming up down there at Jersey's is the 25th of May. Which is a couple weeks after our next Soldier Series event. But actually, ours is on May 11th, which coincides with the weekend of the Portland Crystal Cup. So with that, with knowing that that's going on, we actually won't be streaming our event because we don't want to take away from those views, and we figure, it gives me and Adam a chance to play instead of commentate, so we can actually, enjoy one of our own events, both of us at the same time, because we've yet to play in the same one at the same time since we started doing it.
I think only the first one.
It may have been only the first one, yeah. I think so. Because after that we just started streaming the whole shebang, yeah. And it's going to be a good time. So definitely make sure we'll probably have the Crystal Cup playing on the TV at our game shop. So tune into that. I believe the Break Zone are doing the commentary for this one.
I think so.
So big shout outs to those guys as always. So we'll see what I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited to play in our event. And then so. I'm very energetic today, man. I got a lot of big things going on for the returners here, and this is the last piece of news where we kind of dive into our main topic. Earlier this week we kind of expanded the roster a little bit. It's been a long time coming. I know Curtis had some stuff that he was a direction he was trying to go. We really have wanted to put together like this. I don't want to use the word brand, right? Because it's not a brand. We are a team, yes. Like we really want to travel under this same banner and perform well at events, put out top-notch content. Like we really want to be just like a driving force in this game, and for no personal gain of our own, other than we want to have people come in and have as many resources as they can. So Adam, with that being said, that's a nice little introduction. Tell us who are the new members of the Returner family.
So now that the Turks are disbanded, we grabbed Steven and Curtis. Mm-hmm. Curtis is going to help me a lot with content stuff. Steven's also going to do his content as well. But Curtis is going to become almost like a second admin. Me and him will probably tag team.
Which will be helpful, man. Be helpful for you guys a lot because I can't do that shit.
And then as far as other stuff, Trevor is also going to join the team. He's going to be doing some content too. He'll probably start doing some stuff with Austin, opening up some rare product. Like he gets a lot of the sleeves and stuff that you don't see very often. Yeah. So we'll probably see some videos for that. Then we got Colin and Ron, some local RVA players. They're going to play under us as well. Mm-hmm. They both got top 32 at the Crystal Cup Fire. Yep. Both had pretty strong performances. Colin was pretty close to getting the top 8. Yeah, and
Ron finished second today in the event. So.
And then to that same vein, we picked up 2 SOVA guys from Southern Virginia, in Danny and Josh.
Yep, Danny Diaz and Josh Rose. Josh Rose actually does pretty well. The king of Swiss, some call him. Because he typically does very well in Swiss and then just takes an early exit in the top cut. But he's coming around on that. So yeah, it's been a really exciting week. Like I've been really, really jazzed. Like this whole weekend, I was ready to play some cards. I've been really excited about this team deck all week. And then we add new members. Like it's a new dawn. It's just brand new opus. new faces under the team. It's just a really great time, and we're really happy, and we're excited to bring you guys more content. We're excited to just keep the train rolling on that. But yeah, so stay tuned for any all the new content, all the new videos we're going to be putting out. Like I said, Curtis has kind of already started by doing the second of the great meta calls. So check that out if you haven't yet, about Calbrena, which is a really good card to use in the meta right now. And once again, we're segueing. It is touch and go here today, boys. It is touch and go. The topic we really want to kind of talk about and kind of really get into here is, we kind of touched on it last week, right? Veritas is a card. It turns out Veritas is a very real card. Now, we've got all the deck lists from the Tampa Crystal Cup, and I'm pretty sure you could get on FFDex, kind of do it the hard way, start mathing out. I'm pretty sure there'd be one, like Veritas would be the card that unanimously probably has the most copies outside of like a backup or something.
It's probably Veritas, even over all the backups, I would assume.
And so the question is, like, we kind of talk about this card a lot, not just because it is very, very good, but to me personally, I think it changes the way the game is played currently. So, John, I want you guys to go ahead and elaborate on that, man, because it's something we've been talking about it a lot today. And every time we played the card today, it was just like, yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah, I mean, you guys said it perfectly on the last episode that you get into a game of Veritas Chicken, where it's very much like a who's gonna play it first and who gets the better trade. And now we're on to the next level of that almost, where it's like, well, I'm gonna be sacking my own or sacking your Veritas, like between Famfrits and Fenrirs and all these things to kind of try and make the trade weird in your favor. And to that reason, we're now playing the Unit H, and Unit H is seeing a lot more play because people are just trying to find a way to win this Veritas trade. We're not even playing the card to just beat Veritas. We're playing it to make our Veritas better than their Veritas. Like, we're still doing it ourselves. So it's very much a card where if you're not prepared for it, it's going to run you over. And it is already dictating how you kind of build the deck.
Yeah. And it's weird to see how we're coming off of this very, like, tempo-y kind of meta where you could go to 5 backups and you would take damage early because and sometimes maybe you wouldn't just be able to stave off aggro, because that's why the Warrior of Light deck kind of became a thing, because it was just you want to get to 5 backups as a wind water player. You're like, nope, here's a bunch of cheap dudes and we're going to get in there. But then this card comes along, which again we'll say it till we're blue in the face that we severely underrated. And then it changes the way the game is played, because you have to, you don't want to be the first one to drop a forward. It's like your opponent having like an Al Cid combo in every color in one card. So, but we're not saying anything people don't already know, right? What we're really trying to dig into today, guys, is what are some cards that come to mind? What are some strategies that come to mind that kind of right the ship? Kind of, take away the potency that this card has. Because the card's not going anywhere. It is going to have that ATB trigger. You're going to lose something, right? But how can you offset that, or maybe even make that maybe somewhat advantageous to you? Adam, what do you think, man?
I mean, we were playing a few of them today, right?
We certainly were.
I mean, Unit H is a big deal. Like, even, and I know John has said this a couple of times today, and it happened in our match too. It's like, even if you Veritas my guy, if I Unit H and bump your Veritas, like, feel free to pay 6 again.
Yeah.
You can have that. And then you're not going to get the exit trigger.
Ever.
And then typically, if you're not playing the mirror match and they don't have something like that, like my Veritas, like John said, is going to be better than your Veritas. It's just going to be harder to deal with. And then we're playing Maria, which makes our Veritas bigger than other people's Veritas. So I think we kind of played toward, like, we can answer the opponent's Veritas better, and then also our Veritas is just always going to be better than their Veritas. So I think that's one way to approach it, for sure. And then you have cards like Fenrir. So I think, like, Earth decks are probably going to start running that a lot more to be able to deal with Veritas. Or you just have to, like, I guess not care about it, but that's kind of hard, because, I mean, that card's still really good. Even today, like, even though we had answers for it, the card was still really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, yeah. Alex, what do you think, man? Tell me about, like, some of the things that you've been trying to really combat. Because this card it's a menace. It's going to be at the forefront of a lot of decks, probably for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very similar to, like you said, the Al Cid combo. It's also very, very similar to just other sacrifice effects, where if you just play a single guy, or a single forward, you're in trouble, and you really need to avoid doing that at any cost. So honestly, like I've just found the best things is flood the board, and sometimes that means you're playing into a Cag wipe or a Shantoto. But if you get a Viking down, if you get a Layla down, makes it very easy for that initial trigger to just be like, okay, great, I'll get rid of this Viking, I'll draw a card. And I found the best way to deal with them on the backswing, if you don't have that unit H effect or a Fenrir to just RFG them, just treat any forward that's larger than him as if it's the same power as him. If you swing and they block, you trade. You just say, great, he dies, and my forward dies too. And that's just a really easy way to not feel so bad about taking that hit. And then also, if they just let him through, great. Now you're getting in damage, and now you're pressuring them, and they have a dark guy in the field and they can't play more. So I think either way you're winning. You're coming out ahead.
Absolutely. John, what do you think?
Yeah, just real quick, it's fun that Alex didn't play Veritas today. Alex actually played Light Rain in his deck and was 4-1, only losing in the last round of Swiss. Had a pretty great day of cards. So yeah, he found a way around it. It isn't like you have to play it. It just is, that strong where it's appealing. Of course, we want to just jam 2 Veritas into the deck. Alex touched on it perfectly that, Layla and Viking feel really good into it. And it's funny because I think everybody was just getting to a point where we didn't just mindlessly put 3/3 Layla Viking into absolutely everything with blue in it. And we were like, well, maybe you can just go to Porum and you get all these slots back. And we were all starting to feel really good about it. And Veritas just like, how about actually, never mind. We're just going to go right back to Layla Viking, 3/3, or 2/3 if we're a little bit crazy. But, as soon as they have, that Veritas is going to be coming when they get to that nice even amount of backups. Because he does cost. You do pitch the 2 cards and play him from hand. He's almost like that Shantoto type thing where you can kind of tell when he's coming because they have to be able to afford it. And Veritas is just, you got to be ready for him. You got to have some forwards on the board to deal with it, and then hopefully your own Veritas or an answer to him in response.
Yeah. So, do you think you'll see as more people? Because I felt like a lot today, while there were a lot of Veritases today, there were a lot of decks playing a lot of answers to the card. But it also showed too that you have answers to the card, you can still find a way to make it more advantageous to you. Like one of the things that we were messing around with, just using Alexander, using Hecaton chairs, things that you can just, that's cool, I'll just kill my own to do something else to set you back even further.
Yeah, break the Una so that you do get that exit trigger, and people are countering your Veritas. So you counter the counter to the Veritas, and then it starts to become that 10 levels deep galaxy brain. You play the counter to the counter to the counter, and then
Yeah, I feel like enough people aren't stacking his entry too. Because if you kill him and you stack his entry, you can stack your if you have one forward, if they're trying to catch, you can Alexander him and then stack to his second effect, have no forwards out.
Yep.
And then the second effect, his first effect does nothing.
Yep.
So I feel like enough people aren't doing that yet. I did that once today.
Yeah.
And it felt really good. So.
Yeah. The first effect is only forwards, so it is the easier one to play around. Which is, again, the great part about the unit is you're using a backup to put him back in their hand, and now he can't break backups. So it's he comes in, and they can't play him that next turn. He doesn't get anything out of it. So there are ways to just make the card less valuable. It doesn't make the card bad, it just makes it fair. Which is what we try to do. The standard unit deck does it well against Diabolos and other cards like that, where it's just, instead of just being this crazy plus card for them, it's super fair.
So now do you think, and it'll be a big tail of the tape come Portland, right? Do you think we're entering that phase in the meta where now people are trying to figure out these counters, and do you think that will, perfect example, I'm saying Layla Viking is a great answer because you don't want to Veritas that board. But now with Layla Viking coming back, do you start to see 2 CP Valor start to come back, which was just a really huge hoser to those cards, right? So now you're starting to see more of that. So do we start kind of going back to this kind of there's so much rock paper scissors, just this is what card games do, right?
Yeah, round and round.
Yeah, it just keeps happening. So then these become popular, and then Veritas. Do you think now we're in that where the dance is starting? I guess is what I'm asking. Do you think that fresh song's coming on? And that's what we're going to start seeing here, especially going into Portland.
I mean, I think people will definitely be trying to counter the card. People are aware that it exists, and you're going to have some pretty highly competitive people at Portland too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll be ready for the card.
Yeah.
I don't really can't. I'd be very surprised if. I mean, it's gonna be there because I mean, even when you're countering, like look at our deck.
Yep.
Like we were trying to counter
yeah.
it, but we played it too. So I think you're gonna see a lot of that. It's like, yeah, I got counters to it, but I'm also playing it.
Okay. So with that being said, the kind of the big thing here, if you had to pick one card from each element, that's just good. When I say element, I'm not talking about light or dark, because dark is clearly the right. We know the answer to that one.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if you had to pick a card from each element, that's just really good at, kind of offsetting that advantage. I guess you know what, Alex, we're going to start with you. I mean, you don't have to name one from each element, but like some standouts. Feel free to bounce around to like each element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't want to put you on the spot. You weren't
yeah.
ready for that. That's what we do here.
I mean, yeah. There's the super obvious ones like Una H, Fenrir, and Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to. I'm like, I gotta think of a spicy one. I gotta make people like, oh god, he just blew my mind with this one. Here's another one. Ninja. They play Veritas. You steal them, and then you sacrifice their own Veritas.
Got him.
Boom! There you go.
Another big one for fire. The old Opus 4 CP Bahamut. Just good old fashioned. Get him out of here.
Remove that guy from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little RFG baby.
Yeah, I mean, Shantotto still does okay against it.
Mm-hmm.
You have like the Moogle, the forward Moogle, the wind deck that you just asked that's in there because I'm sure it's again another target they don't really mind having to sack it.
Yeah, because you're getting 2 cards off of it.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the Japanese list too. They're playing Barb and Shara, just as like a 5 CP combo, and then they kill it and they just sack the Shara.
Yeah, exactly. Like you said, quote Shara said, "My job is done."
Yeah, exactly. Her job's done. She's come in. She's killed something. Most likely the Veritas or something else, and then you don't give a shit because you just brick wall the Veritas at that point.
Monsters probably pretty decent too.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just things that are kind of tricky to deal with.
Yeah, Calbretta being a great one right now for that. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of really good cards right now that I think they're starting to explore more because I think the safe what am I trying to say? I think like the safe part of the meta is over. That initial.
I'm about to start playing 3 Thornton, dude. I just thought about it. I'm just going to sack my Thornton to their
draw a
Veritas
card?
every time and draw a card.
Yeah.
I'm going to be searching my deck for whatever I want. Drawing cards left and right.
Yeah, feels great.
See, yeah, there's things. You can think of something new on the spot. Like, I literally just got giddy a little bit.
Doesn't Larsa does something on exit?
Yeah, Lars says you draw 2 cards, and when he breaks, you draw another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 drop. Yeah, like all of a sudden, as a mono water enthusiast, like these cards are actually viable because they're going to break them for me.
Yeah.
Like, look at that. I'm using their Veritas to my advantage. Like, there's definitely different ways to look at it. It's just that we haven't had to look at it yet. So, this is the first week after this event, and all of a sudden, every round, Veritas, 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 Veritas. The week before Portland, you knew it was coming. Like, anybody who was paying attention knew it was coming. It started to show up in these results, but my locals was not a Veritas every round, and it will be now.
No, it was at ours. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
I think right after that, like that Japan tournament.
Yeah, the Malaysia
The
tournament.
Malaysia
where,
tournament. I think that's where everybody saw it. When there was like, I want to say there was like 15 to 20 Veritas in that top 8.
He's like, why would this guy run 3?
Oh, that's why he
because he's actually magic potting it so he can kill them and play them as fast as possible. Oh, okay, yeah. See, maybe it's good.
Turns out you like winning faster.
Yeah.
But I do think there's a lot more. What am I trying to say? Again, I'm just rambling for the sake of rambling. But I think when you have a card like Veritas that has just kind of altered the way the game is played, and that's just at a very rudimentary level. As the game at the higher levels of play, it's a lot more deeper than that. Than playing the forward. Do you bait out a forward that it's what the perfect example is lately I've been playing the same Fire Ice deck, but I've put 2 Veritas in there, and it feels so good when you get the lock set up. You play the lock, you force the discard. What are they going to do if they have Veritas in their deck? Do you Veritas that lock, or do you just let him? Would you let that live and just keep building while he just keeps stripping your hand? Meanwhile, I'm in a great spot because I've played a lock and I'm getting ready to start that value train. But if they do decide to Veritas it, I could just, cool, you killed my lock. I'll get it back with that Setzer that's in my hand. Oh, but here, eat this Veritas for now. And then I'll sack mine and set you back another backup. And then I play the Setzer on the next turn, and here's the lock back. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, do do you have to start like baiting with other forwards, like ones that are like, okay, you can't just put a shit card out there and expect them to like, oh, I'm just going to Veritas that.
I mean, it depends on what you can afford. The way I
Right.
like it is, I mean, I like to play slow anyways, like a slow game.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if this is the meta we're gonna play in, I'm fine going to 5 backups before we play.
Oh yeah,
I have
a gentleman's
problem-
game.
I have no problem with that.
This deck loves the gentleman's
And
game.
today, I felt like every time I got to 5 backups, I was like, here, deal with this 2 CP 10K. Have fun with that.
That activated my backups when I played it.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm fine playing that style.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, in this deck too, you can even drop, like, once you get to 5, it's really easy just to drop 2 forwards that are big.
Yeah,
and
no,
hard to deal
absolutely.
with.
Absolutely.
So, and even if Veritas comes in and kills one of them, I'll just play like a Layla and get it back or something like that, or a Lena and get it back.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you just have ways to play around it. Like, you know what's going to hit the table,
Mm-hmm.
and just be ready to deal with it.
Yeah.
And I think playing slow and just not giving them... I mean, obviously you might have bad hands where you have to commit forwards, and then it's going to suck.
No, for sure. For sure.
But if you have your own Veritas after they play theirs,
You're in a great
it's
spot.
also good too. So,
Especially if you got Una. But also too, like let's kind of switch gears a little bit, but not really. Like we know what's up.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the Veritas is here. The anti-Veritas cards are here. We just had Narada the Death Machine. Portland's literally right around the corner. We're talking less than a month away. What happens here? Like what do you think we see? Do you think we still see people on Mono Water Veritas? Because clearly the deck is really strong. It's still being played everywhere. Do you think these players who are playing this this control shell maybe look for the next part of that puzzle? Do you think maybe you start seeing monster builds? Do you think maybe Mono Water Monsters has a shelf life somewhere? Like, what do you guys think is the? I guess if you were to look at the way like Portland's going to shape out, what if you had to take some like really super early predictions here? What do you think, John? We're gonna go around the table.
Well, it's interesting. I think that Colin just did so well. Colin Coughlin did so well with the Mono Water.
Mm-hmm.
And Tampa last weekend, he bubbled out or just lost out today in that last round. So it's like there was some Mono Water Veritas there today. It didn't do super hot. So I think that while it is super strong, again, this meta is so diverse. It's so wide open. And Portland showed us that the top 8 was pretty diverse, had a lot of different things going on. I think that a lot of those Ice Earth decks, like we saw Ice Earth get second today, is still very strong. I think that there should be some more of that. We might be seeing more of that in the Fire Ice, which is still very strong. Start to poke its head back up. People are starting to kind of like evolve that deck now. And it's even better than kind of what we were first messing with when the set came out. It's always these like we just keep learning at such a rapid pace whenever a new opus comes out. There's so much for us to work on first and lay the groundwork just so we can build the better decks later.
Yeah.
And like we're going to be looking back at the stuff we're playing now as kind of like just baby simple stuff. I'm sure later on in the set. So I think it really could be a little bit of anything. There's going to be a lot of safe picks there. Again, it's a Crystal Cup, so people are really just trying to make that day 2. And top 32 day 2, it's a real goal for a lot of people. It's definitely attainable. So I think that I might be looking at playing something just as safe and simple as we were playing today.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
because
I forgot you guys
know,
are actually going to be there.
Yeah, we're going to be there. Yeah, Jersey boys will absolutely be out there at Portland because our deck does well walking into the Great Unknown. That's why I'm playing it in the Octagon Open, where you can change decks every round. I could be literally playing against a whirlwind of stuff, and there's no like information I could gather that could help me figure out when I'm going to play my next round. So it's all just what's really safe, what kind of plays the same way every time. So that might be something that I'm looking at, and after these results, maybe people are looking at taking something similarly safe, or maybe they want to go for the super crazy fun combo decks like Shrinky Dinks. Because
they go for the carpet bag. They get you, Dave.
Those are very real too. I mean, he shows up with this deck where people are still reading the cards, and they're not all new cards.
Oh, that's how you know you win, man.
Yeah. And it's just that these new cards always breathe this unexpected life into a lot of old combos. And so, especially out there in Seattle, they're a little more creative. You see them on those streams all the time. They're always posting their weeklies. People are always playing some really cool decks over there. So I expect those guys to have some interesting decks too.
Alex, how about you, man?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure mono water is going to show up and do well. I'm sure mono lighting is going to show up and do well. I'm sure scions is going to show up and do well. Because anyone who just has a good day of cards can make the top cut. And if the cards go your way, they only have to go your way 4 times and you've won. And honestly, like if you're just a good player, it's really easy to make sure that the cards go your way. Honestly, like any deck could win. I mean, like, sorry guys, Mono Fire's not going to win. Sorry, but really, I think any deck could win. I mean, just look at Colin could win again. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, is he going? He could go there, go 2 in a row, take a. I don't know. He wouldn't take a Worlds event from somebody. They'd have to pass it.
They'd pass it down, but
Pretty
I
sure
mean,
that passes down.
he absolutely would. I wouldn't put it past him to go out there and try. I'm not sure if is he going.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He's got a full plate coming up, but he could.
I would not be surprised if Colin was going.
Yeah.
I will never be surprised to see Colin at a tournament.
Yeah, not anymore, man. The dude's on the prowl. He is on the grind.
Yeah, locally he will show up to anything and everything. He puts that practice in.
Mm-hmm.
I was not surprised that he won and he really earned it. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Adam.
I mean, yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but mono water is going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the biggest thing, it's a very safe deck, I think. It's fairly safe. I think the biggest thing is it's got a target on set. I think a lot of people are going to be ready for that deck because, I mean, that was what I expected to win, and that's what won Tampa. So, like, I wasn't surprised at all. And I think even less people are going to be surprised by it in Portland, so you're going to see a lot of counters to that, and Veritas in particular. I really think this might be the tournament where you see a little bit less Earth Wind. There's a lot more than I expected at Tampa, so I expect to see a little bit less, but you might see some people on it. I was really surprised that there was 1 or 2 Fire Ice players in Tampa. I really think that.
I think there's only one.
Yeah,
I really do. If I've got the deck list there, I'd be surprised if there was a second one.
Yeah, I mean, it can have some trouble versus Veritas, but I feel like now that it's just going to play Veritas, it's probably
You
okay.
just put Veritas in it.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah, turns out.
And then, yeah, I think the deck we played today is very safe and very good against a lot of things. If you're trying to be, kind of cute and janky, it's just, deal with this 10K, deal with this 9K that you can't target.
Yeah, it's been like that since what, Opus 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
The deck
just
says
get
no.
more pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That everything costs less, and you're going to always pay more to kill that knight than 2 or 1 CP.
Yeah.
Or minus 1 CP.
Yeah, since it's close to the West Coast, I assume you're going to see more Ice Fire, Ice Earth, and probably, I guess Earth just in general.
Well, if Greg Cole's going to be there, you're definitely going to see Scions too. That's for sure. But yeah, man, so it's a real exciting time. Like I said, we're past phase 1, right?
Yeah.
Right. We're getting into Iron Man 2 territory here. Or was Iron Man 2 phase 1? I don't know.
I don't remember where phase 1
Yes,
started.
it was phase 1.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Iron Man 2
I think all 3 Iron Mans went
No.
Iron Man 3 was phase 2.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast.
I did that horrible marathon. Don't ever do a movie marathon.
No.
I will never eat 3 meals in the same mall again. No, it was horrible.
Oof.
But yeah, no, it was definitely phase 1.
Yeah, but that's where we're at now. Avengers is over. We're in phase 2 now, so I can't wait to see what you start seeing crop up at people's local events and everything leading up to Portland. I think Portland's going to be a very, very excellent event. Good luck to everybody going, and we'll obviously as it gets closer, we'll kind of get an idea of who all is going to be there. And just, I think as you see local events, stuff from overseas, results come in over there, I think all that stuff will have an influence. And 3 weeks is a lot of time. So who knows? We could wake up tomorrow morning. Oh, hey, there was a random tournament in Japan. Hey, look what won. Light Unimill or something. Whatever.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, Veritas was $8.
Yes, now he's pushing 30 now.
Now, good luck finding one online. It's hard.
But overall, man, it's been a good week. Guys, we're glad you came down this week, and we're going to enjoy more Taylor's ham and egg sandwiches for breakfast. I can't wait. Now that you showed me the right way to make them,
Oh, it's a secret. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the secret is put more than one piece of meat on the fucking sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
There it is. Puzzle solved.
We're working on that.
I know y'all were judging me. I could feel it. I could feel the heat coming. I didn't know.
You're not ready, and we're still walking you slowly through. You're not ready for the full brunt.
You're going to bring this crazy bread next time you stay at my house.
Oh, yeah, you already figured it out. The bread is the next to go.
See,
That's okay.
Jesus Christ. But guys, when y'all get back, y'all got a couple events coming up in your area? So why don't you, before we sign this cast off, tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so we do have a monthly event at our store up in New Jersey at All in One. We have the Zodiac Trials, so we're on, I think it's like our 10th out of 12. It might be 10th or 11th trial. And at the end of them all, we're going to have all the winners come back for kind of like a 13th Zodiac Sigil tournament. It's going to be pretty cool. But that monthly, that's going to be on next Sunday, so 28th.
Cool.
Yeah. We didn't want to bump heads with Magic, big pre-release weekend next weekend.
Yeah, turns out.
And everybody's a little bit excited for that. So yeah, we're having our tournament on Sunday. And then, of course, we're going to be at the Portland Crystal Cup coming up, so you can see the Jersey boys there. If you're not in the area, can make it to our tournaments.
Yeah. So a lot going on here. I mean, we're right here in the thick of it, competitive season-wise. But
we should be getting the LQ news.
Yeah, it should be soon.
Yeah, it actually should be.
After this weekend.
Yeah. So we'll have something hot off the presses for next week.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like I said, overall it's been a great, just a great weekend. I'm glad you guys came down. Like we're having a lot of fun here. Also, too, I know you said you're doing kind of like similar to what we're doing with our Soldier Series event. We have our next one this month. Then after that, once we get our last 3 champions, we're doing like a, I don't want to call it a tournament of champions. It's a very Jeopardy thing to say, but we're pretty much going to have all the winners from the 8 events. They're going to compete kind of just in like a skills showcase. They're not going to be throwing a football through a tire or anything like that, or running 40 yards. Though I could easily make them try, but we're going to be doing like 3 rounds of draft. We're going to do some double deck constructed.
The Iron Man.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we're looking to do because we haven't got the full 8, but we've already got some really killer names. We got Steven Arboleta, who's won, Curtis Kang, who's won, Mohamed Zaid, who's won, Colin Rupert is one of our champions.
Nice.
Lord Byron. Oh yeah, Lord Byron, another winner. He's the most recent winner. So there's 3 more spots left. Like those 5 alone are all. I could just have them compete in a whole day event and be super content with the quality of play, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So, are y'all doing something similar with yours, or?
You know what? You have put together, so it sounds like super interesting, super crazy, big tournament for the end there. We haven't really sussed out exactly what we're going to do for it yet. So, but yeah, we're going to try and put something there that's a little different, because it's for those few people who had to work hard to get to it, and you really want to kind of make it a fun spectator event because it's just for those people to play in. So it has to be kind of cool and have this like grandiose to it so that it could be interesting for the other guys,
Absolutely.
Very interesting for me to judge. I still have to qualify for one of our own,
There it is.
Yeah, we've got to win. Dan just keeps winning, so we actually have to figure out if we're going to pass some of them down. So.
Jeez, you might have to.
on that plaque 3 times.
Yeah, they messed up. So we have a plaque, the Zodiac plaque, that you get your name inscribed on it as you're the champion. So we bring it back to the trophy store with a couple new names to get inscribed on it. And they give it back to us, and they just put Dan's name on it 3 more times. And so we have like the paperwork, and it has all the different names on it, and they just put his name on it a couple more times. So he's loving that. He's laughing if he's listening to this right now. But yeah, so we're getting that taken care of. But we have a lot of people. Some of the gamers having guys have come up and won a couple of them. We're gonna pull Kevin Witherow out of retirement to come back to the tournament.
God,
we better.
I haven't seen him since Nats.
He's deep in Soul Calibur 6. So, and I don't blame him. It's a good game, but we miss him. Come back. He's a good player. So yeah, he won our first Zodiac Trials, so he's definitely been invited to that next event. So we're gonna get the details, and we'll of course let the people know.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, any parting thoughts before we wrap this up tonight? Enjoy the rest of the holiday.
Really, just thanks for having us down here, guys.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
It was a well-run event. We were happy to come down here and travel. We got some great competition, some great games. Everybody was super nice. Don't have a bad thing to say about coming down here. Even if it rains every single time I come.
Dude, no shit. Every time you've been here, it has just rained. Like
Kingdom of Vermesia down here in Virginia.
Pretty much.
I get a little bit close to the city and it just starts raining.
The sun just fades away.
Yeah, it gets all dark and stormy.
Like
as soon as we drive away, it gets bright, and you turn around and it's stormy again.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
It's unfair.
But no, really, the hospitality is excellent. Thank you so much. We're happy to always come down here and barter our wares, trade some Taylor's ham for...
Oh, dude, he came with a cooler with like 8 packs of Taylor's ham. And like that's enough to last me. Here's the thing, right? I didn't realize. Like, I mean, I don't really know how this stuff works. It's a Jersey exclusive.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know why. But
Like,
yeah,
I had
sure
the
is.
cooler, and I was like, "Can I freeze this stuff?" And Alex is like, "Yeah, it's the most processed meat on the planet Earth. You could probably just leave it out, and it'll be fine for the rest of its life." He's like, "But no, you can totally freeze it."
It's something, yeah. Because when you run out, that's when we'll come down again. We have to keep coming down to events as long as you need your
I go up and just ring the church bell that you can hear from miles and miles away.
They put out the call. Send the tailors home.
I dig it. Guys, with that, any parting thoughts before we sign this thing off? Nothing?
I gave all my parting thoughts.
And I
Nothing
I
else?
said
what
thanks
he
for having
what he
us.
said. It's been great. I've had a blast.
We're happy to have Alex back traveling around to events with us. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Looking forward to Portland. See you all there.
Yeah, that's putting y'all on notice.
That's right.
Putting
Watch
y'all on
out.
notice.
The boys. We're coming with the tech deck, team deck. That's right.
Just sweet Ollie, bro.
Doing our tricks. And look forward to the tech deck, team deck, deck tech. Coming soon.
God, we might have to get John in on that one.
I think we should.
That's all we got. Guys, see you next time.
Yeah, peace.
Take care.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening once again to the RVA Returners podcast. If you like this content and you want to hear more, check us out on YouTube at RVA Returners, and make sure you follow us on SoundCloud and check us out on Google Play and iTunes.